the difference between marriage and this is like you do not do till death do us part.
Right.
Eventually you will want to split. Because if someone gets divorced, 50% of their shares is going to the other person who's walking out the door and wants to spit all over them. You just don't want to ruin 3-5 years of your life that you've invested in this because of someone else's bad decision. When you lost those customers in the first few months, 4 months, do you not have to pay for them?
Nope.
Okay.
If you lose them, if we lost them
Yeah.
due to, like if our guys go there and tear property up and we lose them, that's on us.
Right.
Yeah.
But if they dropped us because we weren't him,
Okay, cool.
It was a back end thing. So it was payments of $4,000. It was like a $4,000 at the first, like when we met him and signed the contract. And then it was like $8,000, $8,000 or something like that.
Okay.
So it was anything that got totaled off came off of the later payments.
Got it.
So that's why it ended up being, I think we did like 4,000, 4,000, 2,000 or something like that.
Okay, cool.
So-
All right, so current state of affairs, how many mowing customers do we have now, like going into this spring?
Right around 140, 145, somewhere around there. We still have outstanding contracts with a few places, so it could be more. And then people are still getting back to me on like making sure that I've reached out and kind of up prices this year because, like he said, with the clients that were cheaper, I mean, we have the name luxury for a reason. We try, like, our product is better than everybody else's in the area. Just from a confidence standpoint, and I mean, our reviews on our website is like pretty much blows everybody else out of the water. So, and that's what we focus on is we try to get the higher end clients, but we also, if you are, an average house in the area, that we also, it doesn't change product wise. Like we offer what we offer and we charge for that. So it's kind of, I think on my spreadsheet, just from the clients that we had already had from the last year, it upped by $800 a week, roughly. And that was from 120 clients. We've gained about 25 already.
Okay.
So
because we did raise our prices, and it has been great.
Okay.
I think we'll make more with the clients we have now than we did last year with the mess of. Because we had a lot of low clients. So we did raise our pricing. Last year we didn't know our numbers too. You are big about that. So I know his dad came in, and his dad's a big number guy. My dad's a big number guy. We sat down and we did numbers, and we kind of figured out what we need man-hour way. The problem is now is it's not really a problem, but our prices are higher.
Yeah.
We're profiting good,
Yeah.
and because we know a guy that we just bid a project against. We didn't know he was doing it, but we came in at our number, and he saw us there. He came in at his number. He's like, "What did you guys get it for?" Well, it was like $300 more, and they're going with us. So like, our reputation is getting out there, and people are starting to go with us because who we are, which is great. But I don't know how much higher we can get, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like ultimately, when it comes to price increases, if you have enough leads coming in, it gives you the confidence to raise prices more.
Yeah.
Right. Like if tomorrow you had 50 leads coming, you're like, okay, well, we're raising prices across the board so we can absorb some of these new customers.
Yeah.
Right. So ultimately, in the land of leads pouring in, everything kind of gets better because you have more confidence to go raise the prices.
Yeah.
So okay, cool. So from your perspective, where's the current constraint in the business? What can I help with from your all's perspective?
You can go first.
What's our strength?
Yeah. Constraint.
Yeah. Like, where's the current constraint of the business? Like, and like, what's the goal? Like, are we trying to build like $1 million business? Are we trying to become profitable this year? Like, what's the current goal too?
This year is profit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're pretty good at where we're at. Like, I mean, obviously the high-end clients, we'll still pick those up. But we don't need to get everything anymore. Like before you're growing, you're taking everything you can get. So, I mean, I think with our prices being higher, we're getting leads in. I mean, it's steady coming in. So I would say just become more profitable is our biggest thing that we discussed about. And because we don't really need anything else right now. We need to max out what we have. And that's what you're big on. No wasted things in the parking lot. So that's what we kind of did. Like our 3 trucks, they pretty much run every day. We stay lean with the 2 mowing crews and the 1 property maintenance crew. Landscape crew. So last year we kind of ran guys and you look back on the labor and payroll, it's like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So I think right now, learning, we have the right amount of people the right amount of trucks, the right amount of equipment. And going out and buying all that stuff in cash last year kind of, like, we bought trucks, we bought mowers. We don't have to do that no more. Right. So, like, if you look at our total debt, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Because we rent the shop technically.
Yeah.
We owe on the Zuzu. We got that. But, I mean, you can't go out and find a truck and a trailer for the same price we got that.
Yeah, yeah.
Our mowing, we do a lot of work with Bertles out in Dorsey, and they had it, and they're like, hey, I'm selling this if you guys want it. We do all of our business through them.
Cool.
So we got it for like 20 grand.
Oh, wow.
And I went to the bank, and I was like, that was the first loan we got. I was like, I wanted this truck, and I don't have the cash to do it. And it was like 4 hours. They're like, oh, yeah, you can do it. I was like, that's fine. They're like, yeah, the truck's like $30,000.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll get our money out of it. So that's the first thing we got. The Dodge is paid off. The Ford's paid off. We owe on one mower. So, like, the struggles to get to the spot, like, hurt.
Yeah.
But now this year we can actually become profitable because our debt is very, very low, actually.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I did the numbers last night. It's roughly, debt-wise, it's roughly around $40,000.
Cool. And that's mostly a Suzu, the mower, and then is it the Takuchi on that?
No, that's a buddy of ours.
Okay,
He moved our pile. I wish we had that thing, but
That's huge.
Yeah, no.
But no, he moves the pile in the back for us sometimes, and he's going to help us with a project on Monday next week. So he's just leaving it here.
And then what percentage of the current breakdown is like mowing versus landscape projects?
It's
Approximately.
tough.
I'd say mowing. Last year we did a lot of big landscapes, but I'd say mowing's probably about 70%, probably 60%.
Okay.
Because probably 60%.
Yeah, we have a lot of fertilizer. Like we focus on. Obviously a few of your videos, you're like, just try to get that customer to pay more throughout the year instead of getting more clients. Try to make their annual cost that they're paying you more. So we focus this year on upselling, like bush trimming. Like we'll send out a quote and they won't ask for it, but we'll say, hey, here's your bush trimming price. Here's what it would be for fertilizer, spring cleanup, fall cleanup. That way they have everything. And even if they have another guy for it, they're like, oh, well, why would I pay 3 different people for the services when I could just pay one and just say, hey, you can take it over. Yeah. So that's what we focused a lot on this year, and the end of last year was like the bush trimming and the fertilizer and trying to get those up more. So
that's another thing. Last year we were so tight on the mowing, we didn't have time to upsell.
Right.
And so like the clients that we took over from that guy, I mean, we couldn't do anything else for them because we were so swamped with trying to just catch up all the time. After that first week, Landon left. It was just catch up all year. We were never ahead. We were never, hey, everything. I mean, there's not many weeks where like, hey, everything got mowed.
Yeah.
We're always trying to catch up.
Right.
And when you got 6 guys on payroll plus us and catching up and Saturdays. But I get it because we're maxing them out. I mean, it sucked, but we're like, hey, we need to work. And Saturdays come around and they're like, hey, I want off like a day. And we understand but it was always catch up last year.
Okay.
So we never got ahead.
Yeah, cool. In terms of like just knowing the numbers, are you starting to use QuickBooks now?
we run Jobber and we have the grow plan. That is where we
our biggest headache as
horrible.
a business.
Like our business IQ is so bad.
Yeah.
Like that's where I would say our biggest constraint is like we're starting to get better on, because we were, like he said, we were both pretty much out in the field quite a bit. So I'm the type of person, which is unfortunate sometimes, but if I'm working, I just want to get the work done, and I'll kind of leave my phones in the truck, but I had the business phone, and like I'd get calls and calls and calls, and then I'd be like, okay, I got 10 missed calls, because I was on landscapes last year. So I'd be there for like 6 hours, and I'd take a break, and then it'd be like, I got 10 missed calls. I'm like, oh my God, now I got to take an hour to make these phone calls back, or I can just wait till the end of the day and do that. So it was kind of a back and forth on that. But now it's like I have taken a back seat, I would say, and more focused on this, because if the office doesn't run, then it's just like bad reputation. Like that's my biggest thing, is I will not have a bad reputation on my name. And Luxury Lawn Care is my name and is his name. So people are like, oh, Brady Schiller with Luxury Lawn Care, like he's a joke. It's like, that's not going to happen. So that's why I focus more on, the phone. But no, finances wise, we have somebody who does our payroll and our taxes for payroll and everything like that. And she's also a bookkeeper. But I've been going back and forth on whether or not I think I can handle the QuickBooks or if I should just, let her do that. And I think personally, I would rather let her do that because I don't think to do everything the way I want to do it, I would rather delegate that to her and pay somebody to do that who is like licensed and everything, who can run QuickBooks herself versus me trying to figure it out. Because we still have so much to figure out too. Like Jobber, we've gone through probably 3 different product specialists at Jobber, and I'm not trying to talk bad about them, but like
they sound like robots.
Yeah, they like I ask them a question like, we'll have to talk to our supervisors. Like routing, I can't like routing on Jobber. He does a lot of he knows the city a lot better than I do, so he knows the ins and the outs and like what would be better routing. But like, say it's called Dunlap Lake, but there's one here on Dunlap Lake, and then there's one here, and you can take a road to it, but then there's the lake right in the middle. Well, this one might be closer as the crow flies, so it's going to take us there. But then you got to go up and around all the way up here when you could just go here, and there might be a alley that you could shoot through across the lake and get that way. But this is like, it'll have us literally in the same neighborhood in Ebbets Field in Edwardsville, and there'll be one that might be in the next neighborhood over, and there just so happens that the 2 cul-de-sacs back up to each other. So if we route it through automated version, it'll have us go from one cul-de-sac, get out of that neighborhood, go to the other neighborhood, go in the so it's like literally it might be better for us to do pen and paper for routes, which is terrible.
Like right now, do we give the guys paper routes out in the field?
They have laptops.
iPads.
So they do. Okay. So they're still on the app. They can put notes in there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
From the QuickBooks perspective, like I would probably delegate it to her because like if it's new to you and you're going into the spring rush, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like if you're a week behind on say just even processing transactions, have 50 of them there, you just forget. Like, oh man, why did we stop at Home Depot for this? I don't remember.
Right.
So I would probably delegate it to her, depending on her cost, because right now, like the challenging part is like I don't even have numbers to look at. Like I don't know what percentage is going to labor. I don't know what percentage is going to fuel. I don't know what percentage is going to your shop space. Like you're flying blind because you don't have no metrics. And so, especially when you're thinking about profitability, like if I just see expenses and revenue, like I am flying blind. Yeah. Because like even the fact that you did the acquisition last year and that came out of cash, if that was marked as an expense, like that probably messes up your taxes. It also is going to mess up the P&L. Like it looks like you guys didn't make money, right? It was like $390,000 revenue, $279 in profit, according to what I saw. Yeah. I didn't see any breakdown.
Exactly. Right? And I don't know if you want to look at it, but I do have bank statements, but that's like a lot. So that's pretty much how I did that, because that's the only, like I said, I have no financial background. So I literally took those statements, tallied up like deposits, and then, did expenses, and that's how I got that business budget thing, which is like not how it's supposed to go at all.
Yeah, like so, the thing with bank statements is like, it's like every time you go in your car, if you have to like check the oil, check the air pressure, like you don't do that. You just hop in the car and you hope that the dashboard, and at a glance, you know what's going on. Right. And that's why the P&L is important. Because like even if like for me coming in, I can't really do much. Right. Because I don't know like what is your labor efficiency. How much are you spending on admin versus out in the field labor. Like there's no numbers. Yeah. And so you don't even know where to attack. Yeah. And so I would definitely try to get some numbers on it. Like, do you think you guys are going to do like 600,000 this year?
I think so.
Is that what you're shooting for?
That's what we're trying to figure out. Like, what profit do we want, like percentage wise, and how much do we want in the account, and what number revenue wise would we have to do to make that possible without, going out and spending more money on trucks or whatever.
Yeah.
So
like right now, how much is in the bank?
14,000.
Okay, so it's not like crazy bad, but squeaky going into like probably a $50,000-$60,000 month, right? Like April's probably gonna be 50.
Yeah, April will be. Yeah. This month I think we're gonna do like 30.
You're just gonna ramp it up. Yeah. Okay. All right. So still a little bit squeaky on the cash side, but like you can cover payroll.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. But there's still that pressure, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like you kind of want to make more money in the bank.
Yeah.
Anything less than 50 grand is gonna feel a little bit squeaky right now.
Yeah. Our guys have never missed a paycheck ever. Right. We're the ones who miss the paychecks. That's why we want the profit, because we have bills too. He has a house. I have a truck payment. I'm getting ready to get married in December, so it's like yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's just a matter of like, do we want to scale fast or do we want to make this thing more profitable? And I think like getting clarity on that's important before we go into it. Because for example, if you had $100,000 in the bank, I'm like, okay, great. You're gonna be full-time admin. You're gonna be full-time sales. You're gonna be an operations person. And we're gonna scale to $1 million in a year and a half.
Right.
Right. That's one route. Very risky when you only have $15,000 in the bank. Like, don't recommend. And so then it's just a function of, okay, what's the alternative look like? The alternative looks like, let's juice every single lead so that as the leads get in, we fill all the current trucks up. Like right now, if you have 180, 150 customers mowing, how many do you think you could get before you're like, hey, we have to buy another truck for mowing?
Well, so this is like for a full-time crew, we try to get 75 people per crew.
Okay.
But our idea into this is if we have me on, the landscaping side, any other leads that come in, we can throw them on one of those crews. But once it gets to a full day, then I could do a day of mowing, and then the other 4 days in the week I can do, the enhancements and the bush trimmings and everything like that. So that way, because we have the trucks for that,
And we have the
obviously.
trailer, and that's what we discussed. It's like instead of going out and trying to spend more money, let's maximize what we have, because we have another trailer over there and we have enough mowers to do it.
Okay.
So
assuming we use those trailers, the trucks that we have, and the mowers,
Yeah.
how many mowing customers can we get before you're like, okay, we have to stop taking new customers?
Probably about 200. So more
We could pick
clients,
up
probably
60.
about 50 or 60. Yeah.
Okay, so basically 50, 60 more customers. You're at 150. If we hit
Yeah.
200,
Yeah.
we're basically like, we're using the extra trailer,
Yeah.
extra motor. Okay, great. So like my then philosophy is we can grow and kind of be profitable at the same time. That is, one, we grow as fast as possible to 200, and then we raise prices.
Yeah.
Like across the board by at least 20%.
Okay.
And so if we do that, that will give you the cash flow required, and then you kind of get to scratch the itch of growing and scratch the itch of making more money. And so, like, it's very rare that I actually tell someone, hey, go sprint to this, and you're going to run it pretty hot. But I think you can do it in 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? Get 50 new customers if you juice the leads correctly. And I have a couple ideas around that. But, like, juice it, hit that marker, and then as soon as if you raise 200 customers by 20%, you're going to literally bring 6 to 8 grand of profit to the bottom line.
Yeah.
And so it just becomes a matter of like, well, then how do we get the leads? Right? And so right now, what are we doing for advertising, marketing? Like, I don't see a breakdown.
That's what I was going to ask you, because we have mailers made right now. We haven't sent out.
These bad boys?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you got some right there.
I was looking at them. Let's go. Okay.
So, like, that's what we've been scared of. I mean, we've had those since last year,
Okay.
but we
What are you scared of?
were so
It's when-
catching
yeah.
up last year. We
Yeah.
didn't want to offer.
Okay, so this year you feel like there's,
Now we're on top of it a little bit more.
Yeah.
are all the crew members been here since last fall?
No, so there's 2 that are new. That
2 newbies, 4 that have been here for a while.
And 2 that's been here for a
Yes,
while.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so 2 that's been here for a while.
And 2 new ones.
2 new ones.
Yeah.
So right now there's 4 guys.
Yeah.
yeah,
Is that enough to get to 200 customers?
Yes, with what we
with
plus
us. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good. So you really become more efficient, because last year you had 6 guys out in the field.
plus
and
us.
2 of you.
Plus
yes,
us,
and that's
yeah.
what we kind of dropped down on.
Okay, good.
It's because like we were.
Okay,
We got-
that's really good, because
Yeah.
my biggest fear is that you had 6 guys in the field, the 2 of you, and did 490. I immediately know like either pricing's way off or efficiency's way off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So I'm assuming like because of all the moving parts last year, underpriced, you had to cut people
Yeah.
out.
yeah.
Like all
So
that.
we raised prices, then we hop straight because I'm on a mowing crew now,
Okay.
and I'm operating the mowing crew.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to do the landscape side of things, just so he can keep an eye on those, make sure they're done right.
Yeah.
So I mean, the mowing, we're going to be already profitable. We raised
Right.
prices this winter.
Yep.
Got more high-end properties.
Have you already raised those on the
Yes.
customers? And
Yeah.
what percentage stayed?
We only lost.
We lost out of 140 people. We
6?
kept 126 or 128. So we
Okay.
lost like 12.
Okay.
So maybe
that's
10%.
better.
Yeah.
Okay.
The good thing is they're all $30 yards.
Yeah.
Got it.
We lost nothing that's going to affect
Oh,
us.
you lost all of those.
Yeah,
prices.
yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Our average yard right now is about $55.
Okay, and so we still have 150 currently on the books going in.
Yes, yeah.
All,
Okay.
all race. So
Okay, good. Good. So like I think you guys did a lot of the painful part last year.
yes,
Yeah.
we
Where
did.
to get the prices up. You were super inefficient because you had low price jobs. We got rid of those. Okay, that's good. That's
Because
really good.
we got to a point, and after watching your videos and everything, we got to a point where it's like, we can't be mad at our guys for making money because we're sending them out to do 20 properties a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our problem. They're not making money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, they go out and do 20 properties a day and bring home $800.
Yeah.
That's our problem.
What'd you send out? Like, so per day. What's your target hourly rate for mowing?
150 an hour per crew.
Per crew, and how many people are on that crew?
2.
Okay, cool. So 75. Okay.
And that's
Right.
kind of what we base prices off to raise prices. So like some people that we raised prices were more than that 20%. They were way high. So we kind of took a route to where we're at, what they can get done in a day. Say we need 150 per crew an hour.
Yeah.
And that's what we got. So
So did you raise everyone across the board a certain rate, or did you do it like based on every customer?
It was so we broke it down to like
time. We never did it by
yeah.
time.
It's
Okay.
$2.50 a minute.
Yeah.
And like we have some properties that like there's this one property where it's budgeted out price wise what it's currently at for I think an hour and 12 minutes, and we get it done in like 38 minutes.
So you basically went back to, hey, let's look at the clocked in on each job, and
Yeah.
you kind of adjusted. Do you think that was approximately like a 15 to 20% price
I
increase?
would say because some people got raised
Definitely.
like $15 and some people
Yeah.
got raised $5. There was only maybe 10 or so clients that stayed at the price they were at because we weren't losing any money, and also there are customers that we've
Towards
had
the
for
end.
a while. Yeah.
Well, towards the end, like last fall, like we were still picking up clients in fall. And we're like, hey, let's try this method, see if it works. And I mean, we were getting them.
yeah.
So we're like, okay, now we feel a little safer knowing we can go into the spring raising our prices. And we did. And like I said, we didn't lose anything that really affected us. I mean, we lost a couple small yards, but we gained. Like we just got all the McDonald's around this area. So, and those are full property maintenance. So like our bigger kind of grew into a couple commercial properties. So it's like down inside we didn't lose. It doesn't affect us.
Yeah.
It sucks losing clients always, but
Yeah.
because you want to make everyone happy. But I realized you get these cheaper clients, and those are the most headache
Yeah.
because they always have something to complain about.
Yeah.
It's like find someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't make everyone happy anymore. But 2 years ago, we would have loved a $30 yard because we were going home,
Yeah.
but now our guys, we just don't have the time for them. So.
Yeah. Okay. Right now, last thing. So, from an equity perspective, and the two of you, have you solidified that? Made sure it's really solid. Everything's in place there. Because like, what we don't want to happen is anything with the relationship and their partnership then do a repeat of 2024.
Right. So right now, as far as where the contract with the new LLC is, that it's just pretty much a 50-50.
Okay.
So and
Equity split.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then who is 50-50 split of power too?
Yeah,
Okay,
pretty much.
voting,
So,
okay.
I mean, there's not really many things that we necessarily disagree on, but I get where that could be a little bit funky. But as of right now, and obviously it's, a year, and we've known each other for a while, but it's something to where I don't really think it's an issue, like as far as like somebody being 51, 49 or whatever
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's
One thing you might want to do, and is basically like a prenup for the business partnership, because the difference between marriage and this is like you do not do till death do us part.
Right.
Eventually, you will want to split.
yeah.
Right? You'll get married, you have kids, you want to move, whatever. So instead of thinking about it as a negative thing, like, hey, let's figure out how this is going to end. Like, I would write that story out now.
Okay.
It's like, okay, so we're 50-50. Great. What does that mean if I want to step away from the business and only work 2 days a week? Do I give up a portion of equity? How do we do distributions?
Yeah.
'Cause right now we don't have a lot of money in the bank, but if we start becoming profitable, how does distributions work? Does it happen quarterly? Do we split it 50-50? Is it based on how many hours we worked? Like, what are the responsibilities? What happens if I get divorced?
Yeah.
Like, it's a real big problem. Like,
Yeah.
I see it all the time. Because if someone gets divorced, 50% of their shares is going to the other person who's walking out the door and wants to spit all over them.
Right.
And that can get torn up, and also the business gets sold because someone else got divorced.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So I would really, really think about, okay, can we add an addendum? It can be like a 3 or 4 page document, and just think about every bad thing that can happen, and then what's supposed to happen therefore.
Okay.
Right? If you like even with the gentleman last year with Landon, it's like he wanted out. Great. Fortunately, we weren't making money. Because we were making money, and he's like, oh, I think the business is worth $500,000. You'd have to buy him out.
Yeah.
Or he'd have to come to some agreement. So you can even determine in the partnership agreement, like how do we value the business, right? So is it like you can just already set an arbitrary valuation so that if someone wants to out, it's like we already know what it is to buy them out. And then there's always the agreement of like, okay, we know what the value of the business is, and if I ever want to buy them out or I need to leave, I know what I'm going to be getting out of this.
Yeah.
Right.
Instead of it becoming down the road, you're kind of thinking about for 6 months, and then you're like really getting pulled, and you're kind of checking out, and the other person starts to resent you, and then it becomes messy.
Yeah.
Versus just being like, here's what happens when this business relationship ends. It's like, you will not be for 80 years when we're working together. And that's fine. Like in 10 years, 15 years, you're gonna wanna sell, you wanna grow it more. One of you will wanna grow, one of you will like cash out.
Yeah.
And I would just like put it all in writing.
Okay.
It's like super healthy.
Yeah.
That's smart now. While we're good.
Yeah. Because our pretty much, I mean, this is like future,
Yeah.
but our goal is to have like a supply yard pretty much. And so, and it's, I mean, I don't know if you know, I don't know if
With
like,
Alto.
yeah.
I wanna open up a retail store.
Cool.
I wanna make this profitable first to kind of feed into that.
Yeah.
But I watched one of your videos and someone else was doing material on site and you're like, no. But we're really good with Alto, we're really good in Edwardsville, and cut costs low. We're gonna have materials on site anyways for the landscape crew, like the mulch and everything. So why not offer it to the public? And I don't want to get like too carried away with it, but I want our shop behind it. So like when Susie comes in and wants a yard of mulch, well, we do that.
Yeah.
Then we got big into the Christmas lights, and we can't display them out here. No one can see them. So like if we're there, I think it would kind of scale up the business, but at the same time, put a lot of debt on the business.
Right.
So I don't know the opinion on that or.
And this is the thing too, like in a partnership agreement, you can set out like what we think the goals of the business are gonna be in 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10 year.
Yeah.
That way, hey, we have directional alignment of where we're going, but then doing that is important so that way in 5 years, you're like, hey, like I didn't really want that. Like I don't want to do a supplier. Like, do we have agreement on that? If so, let's put it in writing.
Yeah.
And then like this is the direction the business is going, and then here are all the things that could go wrong, and if they happen, here's exactly how we're gonna handle it. It will prevent 6 to 12 months of resentment when you want to leave, because it will happen. Like it's okay to realize like business partnerships don't last forever.
Yeah.
Everyone looks like Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. It's like that hardly ever happens.
Yeah.
And so I would just put it all in writing so that you both know what's supposed to happen. Like you might want to have the retail yard now, but if he does it in 3 to 4 years, and now since this is really profitable, he's like, hey, I want a larger portion of the landscaping thing, and then you can have 100% of the retail.
Yeah.
How is that going to work? Right? And having the conversation now when things are good and it's not a bunch of money on the line
Right.
is really healthy.
Yeah.
So I would really recommend that to avoid what happened last year. And as you saw last year, it can really put you behind.
Yeah, it really hit hard.
Is that something that like we do like on our own, or is that something like we have to go to the lawyer and like get it like?
I would literally ask
Sign
ChatGPT, hey, I'm in a partnership. This is what we're doing in revenue. We're thinking about the future. This is what I think we want to do. What are the questions we should be ironing out right now in our partnership agreement to ensure that down the road, when we split ways, everything goes smooth?
Right.
And it's going to give you like 20 questions. And you just answer every single one. You put those in a document, you take it to a lawyer, like, we want this in our articles of incorporation.
Okay.
Okay.
And then it's just all super straightforward. You just don't want to be investing in your time, energy, money into like this thing. And then it just takes one weird thing. And as you saw like last year, great guy, working hard, but it's an exterior thing that pulls him away from the business.
Yeah.
And then you just don't want to ruin 3-5 years of your life that you've invested in this because of someone else's bad decision.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? And when you like, you both love each other, want each other to succeed, on the same page, that's when you make the quote unquote prenup.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think no one wants to talk about it because like, well, we're on the same page, and if we do that, it means like we're going to end. It's going to end.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be in 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 30 years. But like, figure out what it's going to look like now, and what's cool is you can always edit that.
Yeah.
So in 10 years, you guys are still on the same page. You're doing like multiple locations, the retail yard. Now we readdress it, right? Like you almost want to look at like an amendment. You can just keep adding to it in your LLC as the business changes.
Yeah.
Right? So if one person's like, hey, I want to step back a little bit more. I want to take a couple days off a week. I'm willing to give a little more of the equity or distributions to you. So for example, you can have 50-50 equity, but then change your distribution schedule.
Yeah.
Right? So if one person's want to take more time off, great. Let's figure out what's the equitable split of distributions. So if there's $50,000 of distributable cash in the quarter, okay, is it 50-50 at the beginning? Great. But as time goes on, you might want to move that around. Right? From the landscape business, they have different divisions, et cetera. So I would really encourage that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially right now when there's like the stakes are relatively low and we just don't want to repeat 2024 again, ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of like from the leadership perspective, I'd really recommend that.
Okay.
Cool. All right, so from my perspective, if this year we can get to 200 mowing customers,
Yeah.
we can raise prices, that's going to really help with cash flow. So my main focus is like, how can we get there as fast as possible? These are the things that have come up right now. So is this what you're doing for marketing?
Yeah, that's our plan. We have obviously a website, and we used to have a marketing guy who was supposed to make, TikToks, Facebook posts. He was supposed to edit our website, but like you said already, Landon's still on the website. So
That was kind of the breaking point. That's kind of why
yeah,
we had like 2 months to fix that.
Yeah.
We had him in here to have a meeting with them.
The website was broken?
No,
No.
2 months. We had him in here to like, hey, we want these changed.
Oh,
Landon's not here. He knows Landon's not here.
yeah.
Can we have this about us changed a little bit?
Yeah,
our
He never
address
did it.
isn't even the right address.
I was gonna say, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you guys locked out of your site?
He has pretty much all access
Yeah.
as far as I know.
Landon or the SEO?
No,
website
the
guy?
website
guy.
guy.
And so why isn't he giving it to you?
He literally would. I asked him because I was trying to, obviously spring's coming in. I texted him. I was like, hey, you want to like come in and like take a look, make a plan for what we want, how many Facebook posts, change a little bit of stuff on the website. And he was like, yeah, I'll come in. And then I texted him like, hey, are you coming in this weekend? And he's like, no. He's like, he didn't even answer.
Are you guys paying him?
No,
No,
not
but,
right now.
We pay-
But he basically controls the site,
Yes, yeah.
and you have no access to that.
Not right now.
Yeah,
no.
no.
Like if we wanted to get in and change a photo, no.
No. So we pay
You own the
him.
domain.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
So that's the thing
You pay
is
him what? Sorry.
we pay him like a
$50
bucks a month or something
For
like that.
hosting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's all that it is. And
Is it on WordPress? Is that how he built it? You know?
I had no idea.
Okay.
so that part is like I would like to find somebody who can do our website because he's really good at like the editing and making posts and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
we don't know really much about. I don't know if you have to code the website to change it or what you
Right.
have to do as far as the website goes.
Pull it up real quick. There's a few
Yeah.
things like the challenging part is I'm gonna give you these ideas and then like you can't really execute them right now.
Yeah.
Do you actually have access to the domain though? Like if you built another site, you could rip it out from underneath him.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, good.
But he's the one that got it for us.
Oh snap! He has access.
But if I called him right now, he like
Is it GoDaddy? Do you know who he bought it through?
I have no
HostGator?
idea.
Okay.
because it turned out to be a pretty decent website.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's a few things like on here. I think we could really improve the conversion.
Because I know you're big about getting rid of stock images.
Yeah.
Maybe getting a video of our guys in the background.
Yeah, or even like your trucks, like the studio is really nice.
Yeah.
If it was you and like your crew just standing up against that in front of the shop space, I think it'd be great. Like that picture here would do a lot better than just random,
Yeah.
stuff in the background. Also with this like the text is hard to read because there's so much busyness happening.
Yeah.
So a couple things you could do almost immediately double the conversion on the site. So how I think about it is like these will drive traffic to the website. Running Facebook ads will drive traffic to the website. Getting better SEO drive traffic to the website. But if the website doesn't convert them into leads, I could care less.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's like what's the lever of the business is if I can figure out how to take this website and instead of 1 out of 50 people that get to the site ask for an estimate, and if we can get it at 1 out of 25, we double the business.
Yeah.
So actually look at here first because how do we get 50 new customers is the problem to solve.
Yeah.
In the next 6 weeks, how do we get 50 more mowing customers? Because I know if we do that and then we raise prices, we are going to draw $5,000 to $8,000 straight to the bottom line. That will solve a lot of the pressure financially.
Yeah.
So when I look at this, there's a few things I would do, and this is challenging because like right now we can't make these changes. But like the financing tab, how many people actually use WiseTech on your project?
We had one person.
We've had one
person.
person. It was like a $30,000.
So we're wasting our highest converting CTA, call to action spot, for financing that one customer used.
Yeah.
And basically for another service, WiseTech. I don't care about WiseTech. I want you guys to make money.
Yeah.
So like this is where I would say request an estimate. So this button goes up here.
Okay.
Like we want it to be wherever they are on this page. It doesn't say financing. It says get an estimate. Like he has the CTA throughout here. That's fine. But this floats up top. I would change it to get it. Like the whole point of getting to the website is that they ask for an estimate.
Right.
And then the next thing is 90% of people that will see this page right here will not go to a different page or scroll down. They're just going to stay here.
Yeah.
And so I want them to be able to submit their information without scrolling down, without clicking here. So like the contact us page. Now, so in order to give you guys information, I have to leave the homepage and then I have to scroll down.
Yeah.
I want it to be where as soon as I get here, if I'm going down the road and I see luxury lawn care and I type in luxury lawn care in Google and I click on your site, right from here I want to have a fillable form.
Okay.
And so even if you move this over, you had 1/3 of this just being, I want your name, your contact information, and what service you want. Just get their information so then you can capture the lead. Because that will take you from a 1 out of 50 conversion. Right now we have no math on this because but like you will be able to see eventually, like, okay, here's how many people come to our site. And I can guarantee right now, you're probably getting 300-400 people to this site every month, and a small fraction of them are actually converting. Because they have to click on the other things, and you'll be able to see down the road, like page views, and you'll see like less than 10% of people are going to other pages.
Right.
They're just staying right here. And if they can't get their information to you, you don't get a lead. And so we can pay for this, we can pay for Facebook ads, we can do Google ads, we can do SEO, and people get to the site, but if they're not converting to a lead, it's useless.
Oh, yeah.
So I would really encourage, like, this is tough because we can't do anything, but like change the CTA to request an estimate. Change the photo to being your guys in your uniforms out here with the truck. The Susie looks great. Make that the main image.
Okay.
And then up here in the top, like above the fold, so you don't have to scroll, there's your request form. And I don't care if it's tied into Java or not. I just want the higher conversion of people getting here and immediately submitting information.
Okay.
Because that alone will increase, like, I would say at least double your conversion. You have really good reviews. You also have this address verified, right?
No,
This one, no.
where the shop that we rented, that's where technically our address is.
Yeah.
I know the guy that owns it, and we talked about moving it, but it's like in our service area.
Right, yeah,
So
that's
I was
what I was
like,
thinking.
let's keep it
Yeah,
there
that's fine.
until, like, we're here. I mean, people know we're here. The people that need to know we're here.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have this service address pop up when people are searching us out here because we don't service out here. That's what sucks.
We don't want to go that
don't go-
way.
Yeah.
So-
So keep that verified address. That's
Yeah.
good. You guys have like 75 reviews. Very good. But right now the site's not ranking like on native. It's
Right.
doing decent on Google listing, but like to get right now, if your guys' service area is what?
Edwardsville. Pretty much Edwardsville with Alto.
Edwardsville?
Yeah.
Ville Lawn Care. Oh. So we basically got Luxury again. You're ranking really. Oh, not 41. Sorry, 41 Google reviews. You're ranking first on there. When I scroll, yours is first there too.
Yeah.
Like, from a ranking perspective, not horrible. Really good. See, this is a conversion issue. Like the fact that you're ranking first on Google and you're ranking first on Google listing, and we're not getting like how many leads are we getting right now?
We got one this morning, or it might have been last night. We get more calls than like lead forms.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying just like leads in general. Like so whether like just how many estimates sent?
So
Like, can you look in
far,
Java and see how many
Yeah.
estimates you
Yeah.
Here, go ahead.
I don't know if it's in this position. Oh yeah, it's right here.
I will say it's the most we've sent off in.
Yeah, we've approved since January 1st. We've approved $100,000 so far this year.
Okay.
And that's included that's
mowing.
property maintenance and everything like that. So
Because it's basically 14 sent in the past 30 days. Let's apply this to like the past year, not this year. I want to do the last 12 months. Oh, sorry, this one here. Whoa, where are we going, folks?
see, he's done more on Java so far than I know how to do.
There you go. Okay, so converted draft 150. Let's filter this out. Here we go. This year. No, I want last year. There you go. Boom. Okay, let's see how many we got. So about 49% are converting. And you sent out 95. Yeah, so like right now we sent out 95 estimates in the past year. Does that sound right to you?
No, I mean through Jobber, yeah.
Okay.
But as far as like the problem is last year we would just be like, hey, your price is $50 or whatever. They wouldn't even get put into here.
Yeah.
So like me and him would know, would write it down on a piece of paper, be like, hey, this has to get added to the route, but it wouldn't even get into here because the routing is so bad that we were like, we're not even going to waste our time. And then they'd be like, well, I'm paying by check anyway. So we're like, okay, we'll just pick up a check. It was just we were just going with the flow, like whatever we could get and however we could get it, we were just kind of like doing that. But now, obviously, this year we're trying to get card on file, no matter what.
Yeah.
And then, we have some people who are older that we've had that, we understand that it's checked, but it has to be we're trying out, seeing if we could do like a month in advance for check. That way, because we pay our guys weekly, we don't do bi-weekly. So it's like the cash flow perspective is where we struggle a little bit, especially last year.
Yeah.
But it's like cash flow. I mean, our bills are roughly like
$4,500 a month.
Yeah,
like
$4,500 a month, just like fixed. So like the shop, the payments on trucks,
Insurance.
like insurance, everything like that. So, but like payroll for 6 guys is
if they work 8 hours a week, 40 hours a week, roughly around 20 grand a month.
yeah. So that's when it gets that's $5,000.
That's including
a
us.
week.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, we have to at least do roughly $15,000 to $20,000, at a 20% margin to have that covered and everything like that. So, no, and like I said, jobber, like most of these numbers are.
Because you haven't been putting everything in here?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Are we trying to do that this year?
Yeah. So far
everybody
this
calls,
year,
so.
like literally every single person that has called, I'm like, hey, what's your name? Obviously, is the best phone number, email address, and then, what is your actual property address? And I type it in automatically. So
Like the other thing too about the website is like right now people are calling because it's the easiest way to like just tap this up here, right?
Yeah.
I want to make the estimate request form just as easy, if not easier.
Okay.
Because like if they send an estimate request form, it means you don't have to respond when you're out in the field and you're not getting all these missed calls.
Yeah.
I want like where you come back to the office and there's 10 estimate request forms instead of 10 people calling you. You then call them back. You get their voicemail. It's back and forth. I want their information here as fast as possible because a lot of times if they're on their mobile device and they click on the estimate request form, it pre-populates everything. There's not like they have to type it all in. It pre-populates their name and their phone number and their address. It knows that stuff, and so they can do it relatively quickly and not bother you, and then you can stay out doing your thing on the field.
yeah, and it's a bad look, obviously. Like if somebody's trying to call a business and they don't answer and they go to voicemail, and it's like, I mean, sometimes like spring last year, I had like 30 calls within 2 or 3 days, and then they all leave a voicemail, and then voicemail box gets full pretty quick, and
then you get back to them, they hit voicemail, they get back and
It's
forth.
too late. Yeah.
So like I think like just from like a website perspective, if we can just increase the conversion there, I think like we could get double our leads by doing this. We can also double our leads by simply making sure when people get to the site, more of them convert to a lead. Right? So I don't know how you're gonna rip this out of this guy's hands and like get access or like be able to edit it, or if you can pay him to do it. But like there's just a few little things that if changed could really, really improve it.
yeah.
So like even this part, like this confuses people. Like with the whole like or thing, I just make it very clear. Like people come to your website to ask for an estimate. Period. They know that if they call you, they can ask for an estimate. I want to make it where it's really clear. It's like when you get here, if you request an estimate, it's free. Boom, I'm putting my information in. If I have to scroll, I'm losing people. If I have to go to a different page, I'm losing people.
Yeah.
And so we're already, like, I think we can literally increase the conversion of this site by double by simply just doing that. Like put the estimate request form right there. Okay. Change the image to be about you and your brand and the truck. And, like this usually looks great. So like put all 6 of you in front of that in your uniforms. You separate yourself a lot. So, I almost don't even need to put luxury here because it's in the brand name. Just do like lawn care and landscape serving Edwardsville, Illinois. That's beautiful. You can even take this part out. Just make it super. Take out established 2020. No one cares. Do the estimate request form right there. You'll convert twice as much.
Okay.
And what's nice, like right now I have no numbers to work with, but like I'm just going based on like us seeing all the sites. You'll double your conversion.
Yeah. So, would you recommend us, obviously trying to get control of this? Because I'd like to see, how many clicks we're getting, how many are,
Yeah.
Because that's like, you talk about KPIs all the time, and we're like, our close ratio right now, if we had to guess, we have no numbers to base off of, but if like an educated guess, like it was probably around 70%, 70-80%.
So that tells me just if you were trying to optimize for profit, you could raise your prices by 30% and probably still be fine.
Yeah.
Because if you're above 70% close ratio, the customers are screaming at you to raise prices. Right? Now, if we're trying to grow and expand, and right now, my thing is let's get to 50 more customers as fast as possible. We then are at capacity for the trucks and the equipment, and then we raise price by 20%. I don't think people are going to leave.
And that's gaining those 50 or 60 clients at the numbers we're already at?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, like right now it's like what we're comfortable with. We know those numbers. We know what the pricing is. So like I just say, let's get to 200 customers, and we just all agree when we hit 200, we're immediately raising prices by 20%.
Okay.
And I don't care if we raised prices on them 2 or 3 months ago. It's a matter of now we cannot take more customers on. Like we have to either turn the leads off or we have to get rid of customers.
Yeah, and that's what I was telling him is I never want to turn the leads off because people are going to sell their houses. They're going to like leave for, hey, I lost my job or however it goes. Like people are going to leave. So I want leads constantly. Yeah. Even if we necessarily can't take them on to a certain extent, it's like, I still want to know that our business is, funneling in clients the way we want it to.
Yeah. And the fact that you do more of the big project stuff is like, as you're super busy with mowing, don't take on big projects. Schedule those off into the off season. Whether that be July, August when it slows down a little bit because of the sun, or just even like as you go into fall cleanups, like focus all of the time and energy on getting the recurring customers and then push the project off in December and January.
Okay. I guess big projects, what would you consider that as far as like how many hours a week that would be for those projects? Because right now we have some projects, we have 3 bigger projects that would take about 2 days a piece at most, but that would also, they're skilled applications. So it's like, I would need somebody who knows what they're doing out there. And the problem is every time we literally just did an Indeed job, like a job listing, and we had 45 people apply, and that's the best applications I've seen. Cause we've just been like Facebook, like now hiring, blah, blah, blah. And like, people who are reaching out, but we have gotten burnt so many times on trashy, like they're just, it's just not
That's
good
what we
work
attract
ethic
out
and-
here too.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask you too, with being out here, like our target area is Edwardsville. It's like 25 minutes away. It's hard to get guys that want to drive here to work. Here, I mean, we're not in the best area. I mean, we're not in a bad area, but we've had no good luck out here with guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But like the lower cost of living out here compared to in there, right?
Way.
Very.
Probably by about 60 or 70%.
Like, because if you offer the same wage in there versus here, very different type of candidate as well.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm assuming $20 an hour is almost what you have to pay.
That's roughly where we're at, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I assume $20 an hour there, it's very competitive. $20 an hour here is pretty good.
Really good, yeah.
Really good.
Right, so it's a double-edged sword. Like, yes, you have a smaller pool to pull from out here, but if you can be the highest-paying landscaping company, you can kind of control the market.
Yeah. The other thing is I know a 25-minute drive is not terrible, but if we were in closer to our service area, this wouldn't be this year thing, but right now our rent is $1,500 a month here, and we have a great spot, obviously, but roughly we waste in labor and fuel, like for what was it, $4,300 a month?
To the drive back and forth.
Yeah, because
because they're in Maryville, they're 45
our furthest
minutes
drive
away.
is like 40 minutes away.
Are all of your current crew driving the 25 minutes? Like no one's from out here?
No,
one's
our closest one's what, 15 minutes?
You talking about employees or customers?
Employees.
Oh, employees?
Yeah.
We have one that drives about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
One, my cousin, he works here. He lives with me. We're basically 10 minutes down the road. He's
I live
almost
40
40
minutes.
minutes. They're all pretty much 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Out towards where all your customers
To where we're at, yeah.
Got it.
So, because one's in Granite City, he could literally hit the highway and be in Bethalto probably 20 minutes faster than here. And then, your drive would get maybe, your drive would probably be 15
Around
minutes.
the same minute.
Yeah.
So
And then,
just that way.
yeah, pretty much. Because we're so north that we're far away from everything that's west as well. So if we move a little bit more south to where Bethalto is, it would make that,
It's
it would,
way less drive time.
yeah, you hit the highway because
Go to the routes on Jobber.
major highways are
The thing is, you kind of have like a perfect spot here in terms of just like layout.
Location, yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's where the issue is. But because if we waste, $4,000 and we're already paying $1,500, we could spend $3,500 on a shop that's roughly.
We won't find nothing this nice.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And that's why he wasn't here at the time when we got this, but I'm sure you passed through Bunker Hill on the way through here. That's where I live. I live in Bunker Hill.
Okay.
I just moved out there like a couple years ago with my girlfriend, and this place was available. So we're like, holy cow, it's 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So for me, it's great.
Right.
But from like a business side thing, it's like, if you just look up here, we're basically, and I hate how they do this. This is all the jobs.
Yep.
But we're basically here in Royal Lakes.
Okay.
All of our businesses
Down there.
down there.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of your employees are coming from too. But yeah, that's a way more
Yeah.
expensive area.
Our employees are like right here. There's two from right there, and then there's one
Way
right
out there.
here.
Okay.
So, and I'm over here.
Like
somewhere.
as you scale, what happens is that number becomes more and more blatantly obvious. If you have 10 guys driving out this far, now all of a sudden it's costing you a lot more.
Yeah.
So I would just keep growing here. It's a great spot. You're also renting it so you're not tied down to it.
Yeah.
But if you start getting 10, 15, 20 employees and every day they're driving 25 minutes in and 25 minutes out, that becomes a real hard cost.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you do pay for performance, which I'm a fan
That's
of.
what we were gonna ask you about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to know what it.
Yeah.
So I listen to the videos, but I just want.
Because with pay for performance, you're only paying them a percentage of the labor revenue. So drive time doesn't really actually play into it at all.
Okay.
And they're just incentivized to get here as fast as possible and get out of here as fast as possible.
Okay.
I don't think we're set up yet from a numbers perspective and actually like having all the data to actually do P4P.
Okay.
Where you guys could confidently tell your crew this is how much we're making and like this is the budgeted hours. It's also a little difficult to do budget hours in jobbers, so you really have to like really govern it a little bit more. So I would probably wait on that. I think there's a lot of lower hanging fruit, like fixing the website, like a lot of other aspects of the business to like get to profitability by raising prices at 200 customers. I think there's a lot of lower hanging fruit, but then like I would say next spring, really think about pay for performance.
Okay.
Because if you do that, you literally don't care about drive time.
Yeah.
You say, hey, you're getting a percentage of labor revenue. We've raised the price, and now that everyone's really profitable, you can make good money. And like they're just like, great, I'm gonna get in here in 5 minutes. I'm out because like I'm not getting paid when I'm here.
Yeah.
But it is definitely like I think we have a layer of like knowing our numbers, having metrics and data before we commit to that. Because if you mess that up with the crew, you lose like all confidence.
I was going to ask you another question. So we strongly dislike Jobber. It's a fact. Like we had nothing but problems with it. Say and switch over, like because everyone's already like so like skeptical about putting credit cards on file.
Yeah, yeah.
So say we switch over to another, trying to get those people to do it again.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, like the older community, they're like, oh, no.
Yeah, I just put my card on file. Now you want it again for a different thing. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about switching softwares now.
Okay.
Again, I really think about this next year. Like, what's the major big domino that affects the whole business is raising prices.
Yeah.
So yes, we could optimize this better, and yes, we could make things a little bit better on the bookkeeping. Like the ultimate thing that changes this business is getting 200 customers, raising prices by 20%, immediately drawing $6-7 grand to the bottom line. If you do that, we can now figure out a lot of other little stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm mostly focused on that. However, I think like right now I just want you getting habit of like every estimate goes in here, every call note goes into here.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, that's fine. But like we need a central source of truth. And then when it comes to getting card information, like when you move to different CRM, is just send them the first invoice and say action required, and then they have to put a card on file then.
Oh.
If you ask for card information with a random email, you'll get like 5% of people.
Yeah.
And they hate it. They think it's scammy. If you say, hey, here's your invoice for the year, it's coming from your email address, so it looks the same as everything else. And you say, hey, action required, first invoice of the year, you got to put your card on file. Like you'll get 80 to 90% compliance.
Yeah.
And then you just have an automation that cleans up after you. So if no card on file, they're going to be getting repeated texts and emails to get set up. So it's not a big deal. Like I would not switch to something else now because like, oh man, we're gonna have to switch down the road. We won't have their card information. Just focus on anything. I don't care what you use right now. Get all the estimates in here, every job note on here, getting used of just like the crew putting information in the job. Do 1 year of that and then think about if you have to switch.
Okay.
But the only reason I would say is like you like the budget hours part, having that for P4P is like crucial. And that's the biggest beef I have with jobbers. Like our users that want to do P4P have to manually create custom fields for budgeted hours, and it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
But I would not worry about that right now.
Okay.
Like right now, just get used to putting numbers in here. Have a bookkeeper to give you a clean set of metrics, so you can actually run the business based upon the metrics.
Yeah.
Because like we want to know like what percentage of revenue is going to wages right now. We have no idea.
That's our problem. Money comes, money
It disappears.
goes.
Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we had 15. Like we got up to $24,000 last year, and then then we bought the truck for cash, which was like $6 grand, and then it was like, okay, we're still at 18, we're fine, like we're set, and then probably within 2 weeks we were like, oh my god, we're at 8.
Yeah, like the goal is like how can we keep 1 month of revenue in the bank?
Yeah.
So if you're doing on average of the past 3 months, like 40, 50 grand, we should have 40, 50 grand in the bank. Because that can go, one payroll, one truck going down,
Yeah.
and one job going wrong, that's 40 grand.
That's what happened. When he was talking about those $70,000 worth of jobs, I had a guy come in that was a landscaper, and he like cost me probably $5,000 or $6,000
It
worth
drained
of
us.
material.
Yeah.
And it was like,
the jobs that we were supposed to be profitable and kind of push us over the edge is what drained us.
Yeah.
So even like in your articles of incorporation or your partnership agreement, you'll want to distinguish, okay, what dollar amount do we need to get over before we actually take owner distributions? And what I like to think of is, okay, I take the average of the past 3 months of revenue. So it's 40 grand, 50 grand, and 60 grand. Okay, the average of that, 50 grand. Anything over 50 grand in the bank, we get a split as distributions. And you can always play with those numbers down the road. Like if it's 50-50 now, great. But then what happens is like anything less than that, we need to get money in the bank account. Because like that is what is healthy for the business. In my opinion, if you're less than 2 weeks, it's like 911 status. And so if this month we're saying going to do 40 grand, if we don't have 20 grand in the bank, this is like 911 status. We need money in the bank right now.
Yeah.
Because the 14 grand is one payroll and one truck going down, and we're down to zero.
yeah.
And that's like a really scary spot. And so there's two ways to fix that. One, we immediately raise prices and we just stay at like 550,000 this year, maybe 500. No, like 450 this year. I think the approach that you both want is like, let's just gas it for the next 6 weeks. Get to 200 customers, raise prices then. I think we get to 600,000 this year, but do it profitably. But it's going to be skinny for the next 8 weeks. Like until you collect on that first price increase, you're still going to be really skinny on cash.
Yeah.
And so I think there's just so much we can do in the next 6 weeks though to like get to that stage, organize the business. Like it's one phone call away and probably a week of like back and forth with an accountant to actually know your numbers.
Yeah.
Have a solid P&L. Know what your balance sheet is. It's going to take one evening for you guys to go over like what is the prenup of this business? How does that work? So we both can like pour 100% into it, knowing that if and when things happen, then I'm like I'm not going to get screwed again.
Yeah.
Because that's in the back of both of your heads.
Right.
Yeah.
After last year, there's no like I've had partnerships before they go bad, and like you eventually suck it up and you pay out, right? And it is a horrible feeling to have when you are pouring in and someone else isn't. And then what happens is you don't pour in because you're like, well, they're not, and then we're 50-50. So like have it all spelled out now.
Okay.
Like that's one evening. Like in 6 weeks, a lot of this stuff can be cleaned up so that this year can be super profitable. You're both on the same page, and then you know your numbers. Like to be able to know what your close ratio is so important.
Yeah.
Because that's the distinguishing factor of whether or not we raise prices down the road. Like if it's at 70 to 80%, you can raise prices tomorrow, and you'll be just fine. But if it's at 30% and we raise prices, we could be not have enough work for the crew, right? And then knowing okay, what's the close rate for landscaping versus mowing, because one of these we might be way overpriced, the other one we're not priced enough. Averaging out is 50%, but one's 70%, one's 30% close ratio.
Right. And one's just funding the other.
Exactly. And that's why you'll hear people like, yeah, like, we make all the money on the landscaping side. What they're really saying is that's the one that's priced appropriately. The other part of our business, we haven't raised prices, right? And so knowing that sort of stuff is what next year you'll be able to look at and be like, okay, do we want to spend more of our marketing now on lawn care? Do we want to spend more on landscaping? What timing of the year? Oh, okay, last year we had a dip in revenue here. Let's focus on landscaping then. Let's push all of any projects that come in during April, May, and June. We're going to put them in July and August. And so, for example, like you can say, hey, a 2 or 3 day job is a little bit of a larger project. Like, hey, here's your prices. This would be the pricing for doing your project in August. It's time insensitive. It's a paver patio. It's a retaining wall, something like that. And like, no, I need it done like the next week or two. Great, that's gonna go into our surge for our spring rush. So there's an extra cost for that. Or you can be out here. Or you give pricing and then someone's like, I want it cheaper. Great, we can do that. We're gonna book for you 3 months from now in December, because you know you get slower, and you give them a discount, 10% off. So you can fit, like I'm willing to lower my price as long as you're willing to meet my terms. Which is like, it might be 5 months from now that I'll get that project done.
Yeah.
So it'll help with your off-season cash flow too.
Yeah. Because Christmas lights is like a huge investment for the guy, or like actually getting the materials for the people. And we did really well on Christmas lights, but the problem is like just kind of break even on the Christmas lights.
Was it your first year of Christmas lights?
Yeah, it was.
I started last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
first year going all out like on commercial style landscape.
Did you have to buy all of the lights last year?
Yeah.
So then it's like, that's when you start making money is year 2 and beyond.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a good thing for this off
We
season.
did roughly around 30 jobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we store the lights up
Yep.
on our.
And I'm assuming you lease some and you get them out next year?
Yeah,
So it'll
yeah.
be really much better cash flow next year. 'Cause
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
30, like, you know, no, they're up there.
That's what I'm saying. It's like last year was extremely tough, but we learned so many lessons, and
And
it's
it was
like
our first year coming
yeah,
together.
together. We got thrown in. I was like, okay, we're gonna have, I'm gonna have him and Landon, and then like I'm gonna put everything I can into the office site. And then that ended, and it was like, okay, well, I guess it's just me and you now, so let's figure this out.
I was supposed to run the mowing. He was landscaping, and he was supposed to just
Office, yeah.
admin. So I was still going to run the mowing. He was going to run the landscape, and he takes care of this because that's what me and Landon struggled on the year before. Is this?
Yeah, yeah.
So we just the backbone of the business is what we struggled on.
Right.
Going out doing the work, it's amazing.
Yeah.
But if we can't, like we just learned how to send emails that was
Oh, the
MailChimp.
campaigns, yeah,
Like we just ran our first one in the fall last year,
Yeah.
and it did well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
the upselling is there, the more money's there. It's just like we just learning curve to
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have a pen by chance?
Yeah,
Just to kind of like put everything together, I just kind of give it a little more granularity. So, you guys know what the 4L framework is? Have you guys seen it?
I've heard of it, like,
Okay.
yeah,
So basically, it's like, hey, we have liquidity at the top, and the goal, like that's just money, right? So we have cash in the bank. We turn that cash usually into leads. We go out in Facebook ads, postcards, etc. So that's leads. Then you get enough leads, you get a bunch of customers. What do you need? You need laborers, right? So that's labor. And then if you get a bunch of laborers, eventually you need leadership. And fortunately, both of you are the leaders. So leadership. So that's like the 4L framework. So what I like to do is over the next 6 weeks, before we touch base with you, kind of give you assignments for, hey, these are the things we're doing in each of these areas. So from a liquidity perspective, we've really got to get above 2 weeks worth of revenue in the bank. And that's like $25,000, $30,000. So I'm going to put like a target on it, a 30K. 30K cash in the bank.
Okay.
The other thing is from a liquidity perspective, we've got to get to be able to raise prices.
Yep.
Like in 6 weeks, I think we can get 50 more customers. That's about one customer a day. Now that's going to hinge a lot on the leads part, which we'll
Right.
get to. But like we got to do a price increase. So if we can get a price increase in 6 weeks on 200 customers, that's the goal. Then we will literally solve our liquidity crunch problem. And like the difference between being like 1 or 2% profitable versus 10 or 15% profitable this year, actually like that you guys get in distributions is whether or not you raise prices during spring rush. Because like you have the truck, you have the equipment, it's sitting here. Like get to capacity,
Yeah.
and then just raise prices on those.
Okay.
So from a liquidity perspective, 6 weeks, I think we get 30K cash. Trying to get a price increase on existing mowing customers. From a leads perspective, we've got to get control of the site. We've got to be able to make those changes. So it's like changes to site. That includes the estimate request form. That includes the homepage, having the picture of the crew and the brand, much more in that regard. I think we'll increase conversion a lot. Now, whether or not we spend money on ads, like did we spend money on ads last year? Or
not really.
We
Our
were just always catching up. Anyways.
yeah, our agreement with the marketing guy was like $500 a month, but that happened maybe 3 times last
Because
year.
he wasn't even producing.
So
Okay, so like really from a leads perspective, we just need control of the site.
yeah,
Like whether you pay him or you ask him, hey, can we get the domain? Or if he has an access to like a website builder, it looks like he's using WordPress, and then you go get someone else to do it. Like we just need control of it because it is literally the reason that you're getting leads. Like if you're not advertising, the reason you're getting those leads is because you're ranking well on Google listing and you're ranking well on Google. So like not having control of that lead source is like very like it is tomorrow he could pull that card and you guys don't have a business.
because I mean the big thing that he was nice to have was that he had the drone and he had the nice cameras, so it was good for the shots. But when he doesn't make a post, it doesn't matter.
Well, it's not, like the posts are fine, like the social media. I also think you guys could do a decent job of that.
Yeah.
Like once a week, post something. I'm mostly worried about the website.
Okay.
Because this is where all of your leads are coming. Like, oh no, they're calling me. They're coming from their website.
Yeah,
Like, and if we had metrics, I could show you. So, like, oh, they clicked on the call button like 20 times, right? So, all your leads are coming from that. And the reason I know is because we're not doing door hangers, we're not doing yard signs, we're not doing Facebook ads, we're not doing any of that stuff. It is simply people are calling us, people are showing up to our website. It's because you're ranking well on Google. And that's like your biggest asset, I say, of the whole business, is the fact that you're ranking really high. You're getting leads coming in, probably 30, 40 of them a month for doing no advertising.
That's what we were talking
Yeah.
about. It's
It's just word of mouth.
2 or
and-
3 a day. most.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and so if we can get from 2 to 3 a day just to 5 or 6 a day,
yeah,
we immediately double the business.
yeah.
And so if we can get control in the next 6 weeks and then make those changes, the estimate request form, and like, if you need help from my team, feel free to reach out. They can help you. Even if you have a WordPress thing, and they can hop on there for 30 minutes and like walk you through some stuff. But like, get the estimate request form above the fold on the homepage. You don't have to go somewhere else. And who cares about Snake and Wise tag? Get that button, that tab changed out. That's your highest converting call to action tab.
Okay.
You want them to get a quote.
Okay.
So that'll help with leads. I think, like, yes, we could go pump money into it. I don't think we need to. We're close to capacity. Let's get the last 50. Let's take something that's free, which is just changing our website out to convert higher.
Okay.
So, do you think he's gonna have a problem with giving you guys
No.
control?
No,
Okay,
he's a friend.
I
It's
know where
just-
he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know where it is.
We're knocking on his door.
Okay, cool. If we just get control, and even if you need to give him some money, be like, hey, can you just help us make these changes? Ideal. But I really want you to have control of it.
Yeah.
And especially because like a friend relationship, kind of like what happened last year, like he could just go out of business, not like disappear.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he doesn't pay for the domain and your site is blank.
Yeah.
Like if that happens, your leads stop. And that's like an existential crisis for the business. It's a huge threat in my opinion. This is why like eventually I always try to move something like third party. I have the keys to it. I have the keys to the domain. Even the people that build my sites, like employees, they do not have access to the domain. Because
Okay.
someone's going to pull that domain out from underneath you, and you are toast. Like you are ransom.
Yeah.
And so I'm always very careful with the keys to that because it is literally where all your leads are coming from. I think it's the biggest value of this business is you're ranking well on Google, you have all the reviews, you have a listing that's really, really good. And so if we can just increase the conversion and have control of that, I'd feel better. Especially after what happened last year. Like you're just always looking for like, okay, what could potentially put me out of business tomorrow?
Yeah.
You know, and like he is one click away on HostGator or GoDaddy from like, okay, their site's off.
Yeah.
I need $5,000 from you,
Right.
and you would pay it because
Yeah.
leads would grind to a
Yeah.
halt,
Yeah.
right? So I would definitely figure out on the lead side. From a labor perspective, you obviously have a couple good guys from last year still.
Yeah.
You got a couple new guys getting trained. Finding them seems to be easier this year.
Way easier.
Way, yeah.
Way
Yeah.
easier.
And so from a training perspective, like as we get the new customers, it sounds like I haven't even heard of like a lot of complaints, callbacks,
We
nothing
really-
like that.
The biggest complaints we had was not answering the phone. Communication was terrible last year. That was our biggest complaint by far.
Okay, so then we could technically say if you were freed up to be able to handle that communication,
yeah.
we'd be, okay, so then what can our team do to keep you from having to be on job sites? Do we need to have a better trained like project manager?
I'm extremely picky.
Okay.
Like,
On the project based work.
So, okay,
really
let's
picky.
do that. So, can we take the 20 jobs that we currently do on project side and cut out the top 5 or 6 that you know you only can be there?
probably, yeah. I micromanage big time
Okay.
on the like quality side of things. So that's a personal issue that I like.
Projects. That's why we do so well together, because project based work, we don't work together.
Yeah.
'Cause-
He's so fast at mowing and his quality is good on mowing, but like I have to make sure grade is like perfect. I have to make sure that everything is like code, which obviously you should, but like there's so many people around here that don't do it that way.
Right.
But that's also why we're higher priced, because I do it like step by step, no steps get missed, and I've never had a complaint on any project based work in my life.
Work wise, we really don't
Yeah.
get complaints.
Yeah.
No.
So, what I would say then is like if the constraint of the business is you being able to communicate better with customers, we need to free you up. So then this question is like, why are you not freeing up? Well, I have to be on the job site. They have to be perfect. Okay, great. What are the things that if you're not there, fall through the cracks? And then eliminate those services. This is also a reason why having a good P&L, and even you could use Java for this, figuring out which services you're making revenue from. Because I happen to believe you could cut out 20% of your project revenue, but cut out 60, 70, 80% of the amount of time you must be on the job site. So for example, a mulch install, they can do it probably without you.
Right.
Simple installation of plants, they can do that. Grading and creating and doing a grade and doing a ditch and excavation, I'm assuming you're having to be there.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of like, how much of the project revenue is that actually?
Landscape, not a
Yeah,
lot.
I'd say hardscapes and like actually probably maybe 10, 15% of like total annual revenue.
Yeah, so it's a matter of, can we count 10 or 15% of revenue, but by doing that, increase our communication and double the other parts of the business, because we just have better close ratio, better communication, better collections.
Yeah, because we really don't want to do
Any
hardscapes anymore.
Because we got burnt last year.
Yeah, because we got burnt on employees. I don't want to have to be out there.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I want this to be my, like, I want the communication. I want everything like that, the maintenance side. Because plus, if we get burnt and we lose a lot of money, it's easy to lose money on hardscapes if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
So maintenance side, like,
And if someone doesn't pay you once,
exactly.
that's 2 months of
It's like, oh, we messed up by 4 or 5 yards of mulch. Okay, that's $150. Who cares? But it's like, oh, I missed like 7 tons of, grade base. So okay, that's $500.
Yeah.
Then you have to rip everything out and do it again. So hardscapes are not
We made
something
a decision
that I want to
cut
do.
them out.
Yeah, so that's healthy. I just keep doing that because if the constraint of a business exists, all resources will be put into it. And if the constraint is we don't communicate fast enough, we have a whole bunch of missed calls, we have a bunch of leads we don't get back to, that should be the thing we sell for. Yeah. And if that means cutting out 10 to 15% of revenue, so we can attack the other 80% of revenue, good idea.
Yeah, because I think if we cut out, we made an agreement to cut out the hardscapes last year.
Yeah.
More difficult services because it was hard for us to find guys last year. Yeah. Our goal is to basically just build up the maintenance side.
Right.
Instead of selling these bigger projects, I mean, just focus on upselling what we have, and we'll make the same amount of money, if not more. And I think that's the route we're going to focus on this year.
And you can always just have it where it's like, hey, we're okay with a 50% close ratio on our maintenance, but we only want a close ratio of like 25 to 30% on projects because we're going to price it so high.
Yeah.
And so that if we do get a project and you have to be there, you're making such a killing, you could care less.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what I would probably do right away, is just raise your prices dramatically on projects.
Yeah, because we literally have those 3 jobs left over from last year that are like going through that we're going to finish. And they're, like I said, 2-day jobs max. They're really not like hardscapes. Yeah. It's not that difficult.
So the challenging part is going to be saying no to those jobs. Because you can kind of do them. This is the hardest part when you cut services out. And this is why having control of the site is important. Because if you're saying that you're doing that type of stuff, and even the picture on the front is very landscape driven, and it has walls and patios and the whole nine, it confuses customers, and you're going to have to say no more and more on the phone.
Right.
So like getting that top of the funnel on the website to be like, hey, we're maintenance, we do mowing, we do mulch install, we do bush trimming, we do the basic stuff. And then if they ask for a landscape job, it's a premium price.
Right.
But saying no is tough.
Yeah. Especially knowing how much money there is available in the hardscapes when you do them right. But it's like the stress versus the money, I'd rather maintenance.
Well, it's also a matter of just like leverage of your time. Like your time out doing projects, you're probably making $100 an hour for the business.
Yeah.
But if you're able to get 5 new jobs and communicate better with customers and have a better retention of your maintenance, and then one time you raise a price increase and you make $8,000 a month, that's what you can't do with landscaping.
Yeah.
You can't go back in time like, all right, all these customers, I now make money on you. With the maintenance, we can get to 200 and use all these trucks and equipment. I happen to believe that you could also, down the road, if you really wanted to go for it, that other trucks start to do some projects, but then also more maintenance during the spring rush. You might get 250 customers.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like raising prices, we just left our location, like he's going to raise prices and make $10,000 extra profit, but it's like pushing a button. And that's like where the money is good.
Right.
And more importantly, it's not dependent on you being there.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, leadership side, I think we want to do an amendment and figure out like what is the partnership agreement, and just really nail down like roles, responsibilities, what is the future going to look like, but then more important, like how does distributable cash work? Like when do we take money out of the business? Well, when does our salary go up? Like a lot of times, what I like to do, even if someone's equity is 50-50, is like salaries depend on how much you work here, like your roles and responsibilities. Ownership, different than that. Because you could be 50-50 and always split equity or distributable cash by 50%. But if one person's working 80 hours a week and the other one's now wanting to take some time off, they don't get a salary, for example. So figuring all that out now would be really important. I think there are 2 major threats to the business right now. One, your lead flow website, you don't have control of it. It could be shut down tomorrow. The second is like the partnership agreement. So what happened last year never happens again. Yeah. And if it does happen, it's very clear. It's like, okay, so we don't agree on stuff. Great, let's go. What's supposed to happen now? Okay, you're getting divorced. Like, we never want that. We don't want to think about it. But like, you're doing that now. 25% of the business is in jeopardy. What's supposed to happen? Oh, we're supposed to liquidate. I have to be bought out. And here's the valuation. Okay, we're going to get 3 independent valuators, and then the average of those is what we use. Some people use profit, and like we add the assets. Well, that requires having a good balance sheet, right? So I think even from a leadership perspective, like having numbers of the business, i.e. an account like the bookkeeper, would be super positive.
Yeah.
Because like if I come back here in a year and we have a solid P&L from 2025, we have a really good discussion about, okay, do you pay for performance? Do we open up the books? Do we do profit sharing? What does distributable cash look like? What are the roles and responsibilities? And what percentage of revenue is going to the landscaping versus the mowing? But we don't have that now.
Right.
So like I think numbers, like having the bookkeeper, they'll be happy to take your money, so that should be an easy one. But I'd say like within a week or two, they clean things up for you, right? And then you have a really good P&L. You actually, as you make a price increase, you see the effect of it. You start to see what the close ratio is for landscape versus mowing, and then you really start to govern the business as the owner, right?
Yeah. Because that's what we feel like now is we're just kind of like, or more last year, but this year we're trying to be like, hey, we are the leaders, like the managers. We need to be owners, not just people who are, working out in the field and kind of taking a beating from technically our employees, obviously, but like thinking of us as coworkers. So,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions that I can help with?
I don't have any.
I know we kind of did the full circle there. There's a lot of little changes.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like most of the time people think I'm going to come in here like, change the software. And like, but we don't have any numbers to do us right now.
Right.
And so I go after the low hanging fruit, which is like, we need more money in the bank. And to do that, we need to hit capacity and raise prices. And I think we can grow into that. And then a lot of this other stuff falls into place. Like if your conversion on your leads, all of a sudden you're getting 6, 8 leads a day, it'll force you even more so that the bottleneck becomes you can't communicate. Yeah. So like, it'll force you to simplify services. It'll force you to say no to complex ones. And then you'll need to know your numbers. Because like eventually you get to the point where like, okay, this is so fresh and money comes in, money somehow disappears. We have no idea where it's going. And you just you gotta have a P&L.
Right.
So.
I'll talk to Emily right away, the bookkeeper, get that squared away first.
Yeah, I think within a week or two she'll clean it up.
Okay.
She'll probably go back in time, ask for your bank statements, all your credit card statements, and kind of go from there.
Okay.
So, but anything else random I can help with? Anything whatsoever?
I don't think so. You went deeper than what I was even thinking, so
Okay,
I
good.
think you covered everything.
Okay, so that's kind of like the bullet points. I can share this with you guys and keep it.
Yeah.
But if we can follow up in the next 6 weeks, I think a lot of these little things. The biggest thing is if we can get access to the site this week, and then immediately increase our conversion as Spring Rush comes on, I think that's the thing that unlocks us getting 50 new customers and raising the price.
Okay.
If we can do the difference between this year being profitable and not is going to be if we get that price increase in 6 to 8 weeks versus in August we kind of hit capacity.
Yeah.
Right, and then you're like, I don't really want to raise prices because we're kind of on the downswing anyways. Like the next 2 months of sprinting to that is the difference of profitability. So.
Okay. And you said, I lied, I did have a question. For these, You said you wouldn't send these out, you would just focus on the website, right?
I like last year, for example, we didn't have a constraint of not having enough leads. Like if you look at in the 404, it's where last year did we have the constraint? It was the fact that we couldn't find any laborers and we had no money in the bank.
Yeah.
Right. So if laborers now seems like it's the fix, where we got a lot of people coming in, we simplified services, we're making that easier. It just becomes we need more money in the bank.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to even worry about more leads unless you get so many laborers, you have a bunch of money in the bank. Well, now it's pretty easy. We go out and do these, you do Facebook ads, you're driving it to a site that converts well. So yes, you could go do these, but let's just say you have $70, $80 cost per lead. That goes down to 40 or 50 by just converting them better once they get to your site.
Gotcha.
So I want to fix the thing I own, the website, before I go rent space from Facebook and rent space from Google. Fix the thing you own, the house you own.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So if you can do that this week, get that control, make those changes, increase the conversion as we go into Spring Rush, because it gets hot and heavy in a week or two.
Yeah.
So we're going right into the teeth of it. And so the difference between getting 20 to 30 new customers and that hitting that 50 and then being able to raise prices, it all kind of hinges on that site, I'd say.
Okay.
So good stuff.
Yeah, I'll get a hold.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Get a hold of everybody.
Okay, cool. Anything else whatsoever? Just let me. I know they'll interview you. They want to go get job site video and stuff like that. But anything from me I can help with?
I think I'm pretty good.
Okay, good stuff.
So.
I know it was a bunch of random stuff. Yeah, I can give this to you too here. Yeah, but change the picture. We need your face on,
Yeah,
on the
that's-
website. I was so confused.
That's literally what we talked to him about.
That was the meeting all about.
We brought him. We took him out to lunch.
Oh, yeah.
And was like, hey, you know, we'll pay for your lunch. Like, let's
Yeah.
just get this back rolling, because he took a break. He went out to Georgia somewhere, I don't know, somewhere like
Chase a
Florida or
storm.
somewhere for that big hurricane.
Yeah, yeah.
And he works with a tree service
Yep.
in Godfrey. And so they took him out so that he could do like drone footage and blah, blah, blah and stuff like that. And he was getting paid like $1,000 a day. And I was like, I go do it like $1,000 a day. I wouldn't pass that up either. Go do what you got to do. Then he came back.
Yeah.
It was like a month after that. And we were like, hey, like you said you were going to do this. So then he came here and we talked about it. And then it was like, we've gotten him so much work. And I think
most of
that's
this-
where he messed up, is like kind of like us, is he got overbeared.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he was like, I'm
Kinda
just going
pushed
to lack.
himself. I
And
think
if he's not able to do it, and he's a friend, like just
Yeah.
say, hey, can we take it on, or like, can we get someone else to take access to it?
Right.
Because if he has a WordPress login, you can get access to that, get a freelancer to work on it with you. Like literally hop on a call with my team for 30 minutes. They'll walk you through how to do it all.
Okay.
And so like Tori at Long Hair Web Design, just talk to him. You can book a free call, like longhairwebdesign.com/call, and you can even just say like, hey, we were on the Turner Show. I just want to talk to him for 15, 20 minutes and get some like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
He'll walk you through the whole thing.
Okay.
And then, you know, just as long as you can get access. It's not like he's a good friend. He's not gonna like screw you guys over. So
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, like you said, he knows where he lives. So
Good stuff. Well, thanks for letting me come out. I
Yeah,
appreciate
I
it.
appreciate
was a
it.
lot of
Thanks for
fun.
coming out. Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Thank you.